Sorry, go.
So, no,
This is totally. This is exactly
what are you gonna say, man?
what our show's all about.
Yeah, that was it.
Yes,
that was it. You know what? Before we get started, before anything, I'd be remiss if I did not bow at the altar of the greatness of our resident auteur / madman / genius, Dean Daniel Rosen, dude.
Thank
Who
you.
composed that song. Thank you, my friend. That was amazing.
And
all right. Yes. What were you gonna say?
I was gonna say I would be remiss if I didn't say that that we all sang on it. Those are our voices.
Well, I mean, far be it from me and George to clap for ourselves, but however we can augment your brilliance is enough for me.
Okay, enough for a second.
enough for a second to start off this episode. Welcome everyone to the inaugural episode numero uno of BetaBeard, a brand new podcast featuring myself and two of my awesome buds, George Schulze and Dean Daniel Rosen. How are you guys? George, how you been, buddy?
I'm good, man. And I was so tempted to interrupt your intro to give you just a second more to not come in again. Bibo loves that. Bibo was really ready for that intro. Took everything. But no, I'm good, man. I'm good. Really excited. This is something we've been talking about for a while. So I'm really excited to share with just everybody, just not just kind of about myself, but to show the world a little bit about you guys, how awesome you are, how awesome just being best buds is in today's age.
Shucks.
Talking about geek stuff, it's all up my alley, and I'm ready. I'm pumped for it, man.
Do you know how you been, buddy? I do not recognize you. Just so everyone knows, we had no idea that we just met like a week ago to obviously sort stuff out, and Dean looked like Dean. For those who know Dean, you know how Dean looks, and this is literally the first time I've ever seen him look like this. Tell us the story of the haircut, buddy, because I'm dying here.
Yeah, no one's seen me like this yet. I think you guys are the first, apart from my family. I just wanted to cut, for those who don't know, I've had long hair, at least down to my shoulders, since high school. Or even before, since middle school, really. So, after 15 years, I decided I'm sick of pulling long hairs out of the drain, and I just decided.
I feel you there, man.
It's I know, and might I say, your magnificent manes are making me, sort of like miss my long hair, but really it was getting out of hand.
No. That's
funny.
That's Phantom. That's Phantom missing. You're trust me.
As much as I wanna support George in supporting you, it's funny you mentioned that, missing it, because I was expecting, hey, let's do a podcast. We'll call it BetaBeard. We'll all have beards and we all have long hair, and it's gonna be great. It's gonna be like that, like this weird balance, and Dean shows up, looking all dashing and like fucking Prince Charming over here, and I'm like,
no, I still look like
that's that idea out the window.
Sorry, no, I still got my beard. I still cover my double chin with facial hair, so that's all.
The secrets, don't share the secrets. All right, so I just want to let everyone know why we're doing this. This is something I've wanted to do with the two of you specifically for a while. Not necessarily like what we're doing now, but like I've always like been sort of like underhandedly trying to get you guys to like, hey, let's do some sort of like online, like, or back when we could still see each other.
Yeah.
Let's do some sort of like, internet show or whatever. Let's do. But of course, back in the day, everyone was like, let's do movie reviews. Yeah. And let's do, let's look game reviews and stuff. But I'm glad that this is, finally materialized now.
Yeah.
To just
finally,
be, the three of us just, shooting the shit, talking about whatever, talking about ourselves, which is something, the beta part of our whole operation, something that betas tend to not do. So yeah, it's just something I wanted to do, and I wanted to get into to meeting you guys. You know, what you guys, the two of you have known each other longer than I've known each of you. So I want to start off there. How did George and Dean meet, and then eventually, amalgamate into the same entity and person? As far as George's apartment lobby is concerned.
Yeah.
Dean, if you don't mind, I'll take the start on this because
Go ahead.
I actually think that our journey into meeting each other started out from, and I really actually love this story because Dean and I have collaborated on so many things. Something fell. That was my Switch on screen.
Oh shit!
Fantastic.
Oh no!
No.
Disaster.
All good. Anyway, we're gonna go back to that. I love that. Right in my segment. Great start. It's like the Switch, just George facepalm. Anyway, so Dean and I have collaborated on so many things, so it's something I actually look back on a lot in terms of how did this all start, how did we meet? But the story is so funny in its origin that Dean was casting for a TV show at the time that his family was doing. And I happened to know a friend of Dean's because I was in the competitive video game circuit for Injustice, the first Injustice game. And we would do all these meets in these arcades around Manila and Makati where we'd meet up and play this video game competitively. And there was one time where
George is quite proud about being the number one Nightwing in the Philippines.
I was in Injustice 1. Bibo, amazing that you remember that. Thank you, dude.
Of course I do, man.
Throughout this podcast, we're going to talk about Nightwing at some point and why. But I made it a point, not just in Injustice was I the number one Nightwing in the Philippines for a short while, but I was also the Xbox 360 world record holder for a week and a half of the Nightwing Combat Challenge in Arkham City. So I'm gonna bow there.
Damn.
We're gonna edit applause in.
That's such a wonderful, specific, very, very specific record to hold.
The point is, how did you meet Dean? I played with his buddy, a good buddy of his, and he was just there, and he was like, you know what, dude? You're an actor. Why don't you audition for this project that we're doing? While we were in the middle of a tournament fighting each other, and I was like, sure. And I show up at that audition, and first time I meet Dean, I'll let you take over from there.
Was this Project Kitchen?
Yeah, Kitchen Musical. What's so funny is that he was also Nightwing, right? So it was Nightwing v Nightwing.
Yeah, he was the other Nightwing, Nightwing. Ah. If he was watching this, he'd argue he was the best Nightwing. But
well, who won, George?
I won that day.
Well, then loser leaves Gotham. Then he's no longer Nightwing.
I agree with you. So I won that day. So I am the number one Nightwing.
Yeah, absolutely. You won the tournament, and then
Injustice 2 never brought Nightwing back. So
yes,
nobody ever took my crown.
That's true. That's the plus of that.
That's the plus.
No, but what's funny is that George and I we brushed paths for years and years before we actually met properly. So
in what circles?
Stress on brush. Stress on just little brushes.
Just beard on beard.
Yeah, in high school. So I grew up most of my childhood in England, but I went to high school here in the Philippines. And I went to, obviously, British School Manila, because that's where I could carry on my education.
I did know that.
Yeah.
I just didn't put two and two together that it was high school. Yeah. Never mind. So, carry on.
BSM has this, I don't know, has this thing where everybody gets 3 proms because the younger year has to organize it for the older year, so they get to go as well, and they can invite people from at most 1 year below them, right? So a lot of people go to prom or the ending school dance 3 times, right? So there's basically 3 years of, and George is, I think you're 1 year younger than me in school, right? Or something like that. George didn't go to BSM,
I believe
but
that.
but we were allowed to obviously take people from other schools, and I think for 2 out of the 3 proms that I went to, George was somewhere there, and there's actually a picture before I knew him of me and George at the same table at prom.
Yeah.
Which I don't even remember. I remember the prom, but I was like, wow, he was that close. He was literally like 3 people away from me.
You were at the same table the whole time?
Yeah. And
Because
I only realized that.
Yeah. No, because Dean went as his date was the best friend of my date.
Yeah.
Ah,
So
yeah.
I was in a long distance
I see.
relationship at the time. So my friend had already agreed
So
to
never
go...
mind that.
Yeah. My friend had already agreed to go with someone else before she met her girlfriend. So I took the girlfriend as the +1, basically.
Oh.
Yeah, I know. It's very complicated.
okay.
But
So yeah, I mean, full of flavor, but
Such a wonderful tapestry. I'm riveted.
yeah,
and
it's
then we brushed paths again because years
Don't
later.
say it. Don't
Really?
say it.
You don't want me to go into this because it's pretty funny.
It's fine.
Now we have to.
Who is it
We
funny
have to
for?
go into it.
Oh my god.
No, because years later, I was looking for work here in the Philippines as a musical composer because that was what I was trained for. And I almost got the job of doing this show, which was sort of like Blue's Clues. I actually don't know why you're embarrassed about this because it was a really cool show that teaches kids about music. It was called Little Red Piano, right? And the guy was taking me through all the things that I had to do for the show. I had to write like little 2-minute songs that teach kids about, time signatures and things like that. It was really cool, actually. And then he actually shows me the footage of what they shot. And I was like, oh my God, George was the host of Little Red Piano.
I'm not embarrassed of the show, by the way. I thought it was amazing. I love the concept. I was just, in the Philippines they call it, I was so nene, Bibo. I was at this point where I was not at the place where I was confident to just be on that mode where you're just like, what do you think, kids? It was such a strange thing. And it's not that I'm embarrassed of the project. I thought the project was super cool. I think I'm just embarrassed of remembering acting like that because it's such a weird style, and it makes me respect Steve from Blue's Clues so much more.
Yeah.
That if you do it right,
whole talent. This is gonna test my at this stage of this project of ours, my editing skills, and number 2, my sleuthing skills, because I am gonna try my damnedest to scour the interwebs for a clip of the show.
No, you're not gonna find it. I know where you can find it, and you're not gonna find it.
Challenge accepted, George.
Good luck. Mara hasn't even seen that footage. I'm
gonna
letting
run.
you.
Oh,
No.
that's an even bigger challenge.
No,
we need to
I
get
haven't
Mara to see a clip of it.
No.
How old were you when you did that?
Oh man. What, 18, something like that? 17?
And this was after you guys had already met for Kitchen.
No, this is before.
This was a couple of years before.
Oh,
that,
okay.
Yeah.
Another brush.
I see.
So my story
George.
is the beginning of my friendship with Dean. Dean's stories are the little brushes that create the tapestry of our interweb life.
Yeah.
where
I know.
where we've sort of just been in each other's phases. But ever since we became friends, it's been nonstop. And Bibo, with you too. Ever since we became friends,
That makes
nonstop.
me that forces me to ask a question, and you don't have to answer it right away.
I'm always
Answer it later on.
game to answer
But-
questions too.
But my question is, did you guys like each other when you first met each other?
Dude, of
Because
course.
I said don't answer it right away. Hold on. No, because
Don't answer right
so,
away. Yeah.
Sorry. I thought you meant you didn't have to.
Like, sorry, Beebs. It's just there's never been a moment where I didn't like Dean, so I don't know what you're trying to get out of this. It's just...
No, okay. No, because here. Oh, so Dean, you mentioned that you majored in like music, right? Yeah. What was your major specifically?
It was music, commercial composition, and technology.
Oh,
it was actually
just
a
the
science.
way you. It already sounds so fancy, but the way Dean says it just like augments the fanciness to.
It wasn't fancy. It was about writing. It was about studying the mainstream basically and how to write.
The coolest thing that I remember you telling me about your major and what you studied was, so my thesis was garbage. I majored in information design, which is basically like majority of it was visual and graphic arts. But like I did like a thesis that like, you know, applied everything I learned to like theater and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But the coolest thing you told me about your major was that your thesis was a CD, right? You had to make an album.
I decided basically we had to create 40 minutes of music that had some sort of motif to it. And obviously most of the classically trained people decided to make a symphony or a opera. I decided to make a heavy metal concept album.
Yes.
Let's go.
You told me that too.
Yeah,
that's what I loved about it.
Absolutely allowed in my university, and I didn't do badly for it. I could have done a lot better in retrospect, but
Bibo, if you haven't heard Dean scream, if you haven't heard his growls,
hey Dean, I am so like down like once the world is back to normal, because like I myself like studied under the Melissa Cross school of
really?
I mean I just really followed her videos and stuff, and I got to a good place with it back in high school, but I've completely lost it now, and like probably 10% of my voice after trying all that, but anyway, you know, dude, all the training paid off, because like you just made an amazing fucking theme song that is totally 100% completed at this point in time of recording this episode. But anyway, I was gonna say that the main thing that the main commonality that links all of us together is theater, right? And we're all performers, creators, artists, whatever. But the main thing that at least the three of us have like come together on the most often, I would say, is musical theater. And the reason I asked if you liked each other to start is because the times I met each of you was under that like theater, like in that theater bubble, right? So and I have this theory that so again, like as if I haven't mentioned it enough, the title of this podcast. Sorry, that was a Zoom telling me that we got the over 40 minutes thing.
So
nice. Don't worry about that. Yay.
I was wondering. I was like, okay, something has caught his attention.
Yo, dude, are you cool?
Yeah. Yes, I just had an aneurysm. I'm sorry. Again, the title of this podcast is BetaBeard, and that's a reference to how we're all betas, right? And I have this theory that when two betas like meet each other, you don't immediately hit it off. At first, maybe because you tend to be maybe betas tend to be a bit wary. All that stuff, you know, you're a little like, I don't want to like offend this person, but at the same time, you know, I feel like maybe they don't necessarily vibe with me or whatever insecurities we bring into our social interactions. But anyway, Dean, I first met you. Do you remember where we first met?
Yes, we met at a reading. I don't know how much of the reading I can say. But
that's funny. Oh, well, here, I'll say it for you. If you and George first interacted at BSM, we first interacted at DSM.
Awesome. We could talk about it, yeah.
Let's do it. I don't care.
Yeah,
I mean, if they're cool with it, unless they're weird about it.
No, I'm sure they'll be open to it. But yeah, it's like we met at an erotic comedy show.
Yes. Okay.
Which was awesome and really good fun.
So he probably met Miguel too.
Yeah.
The
At
Nightwing.
the same show.
Yeah, I did.
The
That's the
Nightwing
other
1B.
That
Nightwing.
was him. Okay, I know him. Yeah, I know Miguel. Yeah.
Yeah. Nightwing 1B. Miguel.
But yeah, Dean and I met at DSM, which stands for Deus Sex Machina, which is like this erotic comedy show. It's honestly a lot more wholesome than you might think, right?
Yeah.
For something like that. I mean, if your standards are a bit liberal and stuff.
Yeah.
But so Dean, we did this it was basically an R-rated version of Harry Potter,
Yeah.
right? Where I forget which Harry Potter character I was playing. Dean was playing.
I know.
You were
you
Harry.
remember?
I'm pretty sure.
I was probably Harry, which I wasn't pleased about because in that context, it's probably the most boring character to play. But anyway, Dean was playing, and I'm sure you probably heard his take on this character, George. But like Dean was Snape, and back in the day, hey man, I was an angsty little shithead, and I was like, Dean was doing in hindsight now, in retrospect, and in all objectivity, Dean was doing the most perfect. What's his name?
Alan
Rickman.
Alan Rickman. Rest in peace.
I've
Alan
heard
Rickman.
it. I know it.
The most spot on Alan Rickman ever. Now I was like, this guy with like his Alan Rickman impersonation. Okay, fine. I'm having fun anyway. Whatever. And I just got this vibe that Dean was like, thumbing in his nose at me, being like, "Oh, can you do an Alan Rickman impersonation?" I don't think so, Mr. Potter. With his perfect Britishness and all that, and I wasn't necessarily like certain. I didn't know yet that he was British and stuff. So that was the first time Dean and I met. And
Bibo, correct me if I'm wrong, but I know in the performance when Dean came in, it got like an applause, right? Like when he
That was my first ever entrance of play.
when
it
when he
must have.
enters
It must have.
as Snape, wasn't it?
As Snape.
Weren't people going wild? And those are
Probably,
the stories
yeah.
that I heard. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes,
There's
sir.
probably.
Yeah, that was really fun. That was really
nice.
awesome.
It was great. It was fantastic. It was, and I love the way we exited. We just did this the most cursed version of a Harry Potter theme song cover you could possibly imagine.
You know, I'm gonna go ahead and
It was
pretend
great.
that I've never heard Dean do this impression. So, Dean, if you remember your line from that show, how you enter,
Yeah,
just throw it in. Let's just show me for
I don't
because
remember how
Show me the money,
I don't
Dean.
remember it.
I don't remember how I enter, but I remember this one because it was so gross. This one line from the show, which is that I'm gonna do it badly now. I know because I haven't warmed up. And I was like, "Is it wrong if I pee in?" I'm not even going to dignify that with an answer.
There you go. There you go.
Dude, I remember nothing about
There you
the
go.
text, but I remember it with you saying that, and that was a Ron thing. I'm pretty sure that was a Ron thing.
I probably did that terribly because I haven't done
No. It sounded good to
the
me.
longest time.
Sounded great, man. Anyway, so
Yeah,
that was
sounded
at the end. I met you, George. I met you after you performed in Into the Woods. You did a show of Into the Woods, and the reason why I felt like you didn't like me when we first met was because we met through a common friend. I forget who, but who told me. Because I was a huge wrestling fan. I mean, I'm starting to be a huge wrestling fan again now, but back in the day, I was just like rabid about it, right? And I was about to leave for WrestleMania 30. I was about to go on a trip. I think it was around that time. And someone had told me that you were a wrestling fan. Moreover, a huge CM Punk mark, who is like my second favorite wrestler, bar none, all time.
Yeah.
And I met you and I was excited to meet you and of course like when someone tells you something about someone you it's kind of like the first thing you try to broach, right? And I'm like, hey man, I heard you're a wrestling fan, a Punk fan, man. What are you into now? Blah blah blah. And George, George,
no.
you explained that you kind of have a bit of RBF energy at times. You were just like, I like Punk. Yeah, Punk's great. No, it's cool. It's just, yeah. And I was like, oh. great.
I can so imagine it.
Oh no.
That's cool,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
You know, me with my energies being like, hey, yeah, okay, cool.
When really,
Which is so
he was
funny
probably
because I
like
heard
that.
the stories of Bibo going to that WrestleMania, and all I was like super impressed that I was like, wow, like he went there and he showed this to Daniel Bryan and he got a response, and I was so like happy about that, and so when I give that off, man. It's totally not who I am, but my default face is just, if I could show you on camera, it's just really like. It's just really that. And then when you meet me, more often than not, like I'll be like, yeah, oh man, like warm. But yeah, I guess when I have no idea what happened there, why I played that cool.
You're probably
But-
nervous as well. That's what I
Yeah,
imagine.
yeah. I know because like I actually my first memory of Bibo is from watching one of his shows for it's a while back. What do you call it? What do you call those nights? It used to be in that restaurant. I mean, the bar where you just sing at the bar. Wow,
The one night stands.
One night stand.
One night stand?
You.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You were like two words into it.
Yeah, like that. Yeah,
Those one
okay.
nights where you
The
stand.
one night.
You know, this one night where you.
stand. No, I saw people do one of his performances from there, and like I thought, like, damn, this is like a handsome dude. Like, you know, I mean, he looks like he looked like Zac Efron up there, like, and I was just like, oh damn, yeah, Bibo, like, and then I heard that he was like a cool guy, and you know how it is in theater, like you think you know everybody, and then when you see somebody you don't meet, you kind of don't want to risk the wrong impression and whatnot. So it just goes like that, I guess.
I remember.
Yeah, but
yeah. Sorry, go.
so, no,
This
but-
is
is your-
this is exactly
What were you gonna say, man?
what our show's all about. Now I remember the second time I met Bibo because of the second time I saw you, because I don't know if I told you this before, Bibo. I was like, I can't remember if it was it A Horse and His Boy? I can't remember. We watched the show. Or if it was a different show.
I have. You're either sparking very vague memories or you're constructing false ones in my head.
Yeah.
Either way, I'm in. Carry on.
It was definitely.
Let's say it was A Horse and a Boy, and let's say you both watched it to watch it.
Yeah.
Let's just,
at the same
let's
time.
just say that. If we're
was-
constructing.
Yeah, it was definitely a show where like loads of mutual friends were in it, but I can't remember exactly which one it was. And Bibo comes up to me because the only time we had met before was at this Harry Potter thing, and during the time of that Harry Potter thing, Bibo was a lot heavier, and Bibo came up to me. And it's like this really skinny guy, and he shook my hand. And it's like, "Hey, Dino, how you doing?" And for a second, I was like, "Who are you?" I was like, "Oh yeah, man!" Like, you know, one of those things where you don't want to say the person's name because you can't. But that was only for
you might be wrong.
yeah. But that was only for like a second, and then I was like, "Holy shit! I haven't seen you in like ever since you started losing weight." And I was like, "Oh my god, Bibo! Holy crap!" But for a second, I was like, "Do I know you?" You know.
I love that you both just have stories of just blowing me off completely. I'm kidding.
I remember the 13th
anyway-
time I met Bibo. You know, Bibo,
So-
I never met you while you were overweight. Actually, I don't think we've ever like crossed proper paths while you were overweight.
Well, I mean, the first time we met, I was heavy then, but
you
then,
were a little heavier
But then,
Okay.
yeah, no, I was straight up still obese. But then again, like you guys were describing earlier, it was like that circling each other, you know, already being aware of the person, but also sort of feeling like this weird kinship, just because like you feel like you have common interests, common standards, common like just general, you know, general vibes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I re-met George and finally got to know him when we did Suicide Incorporated together,
Mm-hmm.
which was you know great because I got to know George and stuff. But then fast forward to, and I feel like we really should talk about this because this is one of my most favorite experiences doing theater, was when the first show the three of us did, where all three of us were there, was Spamalot.
Yeah.
And you guys were unbelievably hilarious in that.
You so are
I
you,
was
man.
busting a gut at every hair. Hey, no, Dean, here we go. See, it's BetaBeard again. Like, I'll be the first to admit, my track wasn't the most like, haha, he made a funny type of track.
But you made the most out of it, man. Like,
did.
we
Thank
don't
you.
get to
I
choose our
appreciate
tracks,
that.
But
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, that really, like the fucking arrow bit, that really got me. Like
To acknowledge though Bibo's point, I think what he's trying to say is I don't think either Dean or I would have traded our tracks for his. I think that's
That's very
You know,
fair to say.
Yeah, because it's like as much as he made the most, there wasn't a lot to make. So it's a big deal that he made the most, you know?
yeah, it's a big deal.
So
Because like BetaBeard, like the night, and we were all knights too. We were all Knights of the Round Table, which was great. And BetaBeard, the one I had, was kind of the Donatello of the group. He was like, the one with the plan, the smart one, the Hermione, who won't necessarily, won't necessarily be the funniest, but But anyway,
drives the plot.
I'm so exactly. Like, here's some exposition, King Arthur, yeah. But dude, I super enjoyed finally doing a production with all three of you, and that was the time that I first wanted to do something like this with you guys. It was like do some type of cast, some type of review or whatever, and it was just great to flex those muscles with you guys doing that show, because comedy is really the hardest thing to do in theater, and I'm sure you guys would agree, and I feel like you guys have like a similar passion for it as I do, even to the degree that, would you guys say that like everything, especially in theater, but even everything in any other performing medium, is comedy at the end of the day? It's a setup and a payoff.
Yeah, I think it's fundamentally right. The muscles that you stretch with comedy are and just by sort of like consuming comedy, even it's sort of microcosmic of all entertainment, all stories, like you said, there's a setup and a payoff. There's a and that's all every narrative is, really, when you break it down. So that kind of mindset in comedy. Basically, in comedy, you have to tell a million stories in one scene. That's why it's so demanding, I think, because every single joke is essentially a microcosmic story, and if you want to do it right and you want to really bring people into each and every single one of those, you have to, convey and sometimes switch to completely different ones. So I'm getting way too serious for this podcast.
No. Dean,
but hey,
please,
no.
please.
To support that, it shows why what I'm gonna describe happened is like, do you remember, George? Like, I mean, for the two of us who I'd been doing theater for a good number of years, but then you have been doing theater since you were a child.
Yeah.
Dean comes along, Spamalot with his first full-on theater production, and knocks everyone's socks off with how charming and funny he is with everything he's doing, and we're just like,
thank you. No, you're too guys.
No, it was definitely that. He was like a taller, more on point, deeper voiced version of me, and it just sucked sometimes, and I was like, oh man, he's just. Man. But yeah, I totally get it.
The same.
Dean's a
I felt
natural.
the same about
Dean's
you guys with your experience, and like I think everybody impressed each other on that show, because everybody was so on point and so funny in so many ways.
Joel, who was the co-director of Spamalot, put it
best
in that it was a lightning in a bottle cast. Like you can't, it just really was something that you really couldn't have changed. Well, maybe. Never mind. Couldn't have changed any cast member.
Wow. Who do you hate,
I'm not gonna get into it.
Who did you hate?
I'm not gonna get into it. But you could have. It was something that, for the people who did what they did in the show, it worked so well because of the people he brought together, and there couldn't have been a cast that you put on paper that of our industry at the time that understood the material and could have pulled it off the way that we did, I think, and that was very special.
Absolutely.
The answer is me. You could have BetaBeard could have just
No.
been played that anyway. That's
It was so funny because before this,
saves George and say
before we started, we were like, guidelines, don't mention anything about, like, and it's just, and then I already go into that.
no, but hey, no, I do want to like sort of pull the curtain back a little. Of course, being careful to respect the sort of that unspoken pact we have in that theater circle, but also let people know what it's like a bit more about what the relationships are like, how the histories go into each go along with each other and stuff. It's funny you mentioned Dean being like a taller version of you, because I remember like when people used to legitimately get you guys confused with each other. I was just like, what?
Yeah, it's just
They don't
because
look alike. It's just because they have long hair and beards. You guys are just, can you like look past that, please? They're more than their facial hair, guys. Yada, yada, yada. Until the day finally came when I did it myself. Maybe because I had just been hanging out with you guys too much. So I was like talking to either one of you. And I was like, hey, George. You're not George.
I'll have you know that Dean and I both live in condo apartments, and we can very easily enter each other's buildings.
Yeah, they just let us in.
You go up there like, oh, yeah,
George.
It's just they're just like, I'm going up.
Yep.
And they're just like, yep.
I went to the coffee shop.
Bibo, I'm actually sorry. I'm going to take this opportunity to pull it back.
Go ahead, man.
I really want to, and I think
brother.
I'll make an exception just for this. And I will use this as a way to talk about like theater and respect. When I talk about just what I meant by you could replace anybody or some people is that there was one person. I won't name a name out of respect to him, but when you start messing with the time and you start showing up late to rehearsals and you do things that affect the flow of a rehearsal, it becomes an opportunity as a learning experience. And in the theater industry here, there's no patience for that. So
Absolutely.
So that's what I meant. We had one cast member. He kind of, by whatever reason for it, maybe he wasn't in the right place. He was showing up late a lot. And by the time the next rerun happened, it was like a conversation of, okay, that became kind of a problem to our flow at times. Do we need to think about this? So that's all. So, just respect the industry, respect everybody's time. We're all there on time. Dean and I freaking walk there every day, which was like a 50-50 minute walk to be there on time.
Yeah.
So,
it's getting shocked by every outlet you brush up against because of all the static you built up.
When you go on long walks, you build static, and there were a lot of pipes in our rehearsal hall, and you just get shocked a lot by the metallic pipes.
That was weird.
But point being, I just want to pull it back to say respect
for sure,
people's
man.
time, man. Respect people.
Yeah, absolutely, and I appreciate you clarifying that also, because like it's not an indictment on the person's like talent or desire to be there or whatever, but like just show up on time.
Just show up on time.
Sorry,
work.
Did you? Yeah, did you have something to say, Dean?
Yeah, I can't remember. What were we talking about before that? We were talking about...
It was you! You were the person who kept showing up.
No, we went from there into Dean and George being interchangeable beings.
No.
Yeah, no, it's great that you... Yeah.
I went into the... Sorry. What?
Sorry, you...
No, I went into the... I went into the coffee shop on the ground floor of George's building, and they just gave me as usual. Yeah, that's not a joke.
I knew about the lobby story. I didn't know it was to that degree.
Man,
that makes me so happy.
I was actually just there to meet George. He was like, let's meet at this place. And I didn't order coffee yet. They just came up to me with his usual coffee. It was amazing. And I was like, sorry, what's this? And they were like, it's your usual, sir. I never go to this coffee shop. So they gave me this. I'm like, okay, I got it immediately. I'm like, thank you. And I just gave it to, I think I gave it to you when oh no, I tried it and it was really good. It was like
just an iced Americano, man.
No.
But they have a good bean. Their bean is good.
Did you add a pinch of rock salt in
No,
there to bring out
I
the
will.
sweetness?
I will.
That's a funny story
I will
as well.
fight you on rock salt and coffee, man. Because
I know. That's why I brought it
I
up.
know,
That's
and I
one
know
of
why
those
you're
things,
bringing
man.
it up. Because that's absolutely me. Like, have you tried your coffee with a bit of salt? It actually, you know how when you put salt in chocolate, it brings out the flavor. Same with coffee.
Yeah,
I will.
absolutely.
I will fight you.
That's
on
legit,
that.
though.
That's
Except that
super
one
legit.
time where where you were like, where I'm gonna across the road to get coffee. You want anything? And you were like, yeah, can I have an Americano? But can you just put a little bit of salt in it? So I'm like, okay. I go across to this place that doesn't usually, you know, they're a restaurant. They're not a coffee shop, you know, so they don't do like barista bespoke, you know, coffee suggestions or anything like that. And I was like, in one of the Americanos, can you just put a little pinch of salt? And I didn't see what they did with it. I was just like minding my own business, looking out the window, and then they were like, okay, here you go, sir. And then I brought it back to George. I think we were getting haircuts for a production or something, and they had put like a tablespoon of
the
salt.
Leslie salon.
It was
Yes,
for
we were at
waitress,
Leslie. Yeah.
They put a freaking tablespoon of salt in it. And I tried it and I was like, dude, what the fuck is this?
I was like, look, bro, I said exactly what you said to me. I don't know why they put a fucking tablespoon of salt in there or whatever they put. I didn't see what they put in there.
God damn it.
Yeah, Dean.
God
like that.
damn it.
But speaking of that production, and also speaking of like you know, the importance of being prompt in theater and stuff. After Spamalot, I think the next production that we all did together was Waitress.
Yes, the
And
international premiere.
we're running up against it right now, so we won't be able to get into too much. But I really want to come before we end this auspicious, you know, this just
Get to
this
know you
wonderful
episode. Yeah.
first meeting, get to know you episode of this podcast. I want to bring up like us, well, you guys' first experiences with Atlantis and how, you know, how we all experienced it together. So.
Yeah.
Those who are in the theater industry will know that every company has its reputations and whatever. And like, what, in my opinion, a good aspect to Atlantis' reputation is their focus on, you know, doing your work really well and just being, like you described, George, which is really a staple of any company, but they really emphasize it over there, is, you know, come on time, so that you respect, you show you respect everyone else's time, and you arrive on time and all of that.
On time is late for them.
Yeah.
On time is late. Yeah. There's that adage. I don't want to get into it too much, but there's that, right? And I remember that because I cared about, because I love you guys. And I wanted you guys to, like, you know, have the best experience. Also, as sort of like a card carrying member of the company, I wanted my friends to have really good experiences there too, and you know, bring everything they can to the table. So before we start rehearsals, I was like, hey guys, you know, I just want to let you know, yada yada yada, like, really make sure you stick to these rules. You know, put your phone away, just don't touch it for the duration of rehearsal. All that type of stuff. And it's funny, I was telling George about how, like, when I first met him, like, I knew that he was a wrestling fan, and then, like, I immediately blasted him in the face with all the wrestling stuff I wanted to talk to him about. I equipped George with all the stuff, you know, do your homework, like, come on time, like, have options. You know, this is a key word in this story. Have your options, George. Have options with your attacks, with your scenes and all of that, because you don't want to come in with just one attack. You know, you want to show Bobby, the owner and director, like that you know your stuff, and you can play and stuff. And George, do you wanna
No
take over this story?
No I want to see how you tell it. No
Okay,
go ahead.
so George, you know, again, like I described, it's sort of like when you go on you get set up on a date with someone's friend, right? You say you have a guy friend who has a female friend, if you are into females, and they tell you all the stuff about her. You know, she's into this, she's into that, she's into music, she's into poetry, she's into books, all that stuff. And you show up at the girl's house and you're like, hi, nice to meet you. Yeah. So books. Oh God, those books. All those words. Books with poems in them, and they sound like music. Yes, books. George shows up on his first day, the first day where he has a scene. It's probably the scene where he has a napkin, which is a whole other shebang that we'll get into some other time. But like, so George does it, right? He's prepared because George is a consummate professional, right? He knows his stuff. He knows all his lines. He's prepared. He does his first attack, and then Bobby like cuts it. Like he's okay, stop, and then before Bobby gets two words in about what input he has or what notes he might have, just like, I can give you options. I have options for the scene. I can do.
I'll never forget Bobby's reaction to that.
That's my very embellished romanticized version of the story. But go, George. What was your experience doing that?
No, I mean, like, you would know because I was calling you every day and being like, were the options okay? Did that seem like I had options?
It seems so funny now
because,
that we look
Go ahead.
I remember the fear. I remember it. I remember being like, "Oh my God, I want to do well in this company." Like, and
we're running into time. Yeah, but first impressions they count there. And I just remember that, like, I had, and this is something we could get into another time. I had multiple things that I wanted to do because my character in that scene throughout the show, he didn't, he was meaningful to the story, but. I will say this. Actors underestimate the difficulty of what it means to enter a scene as a character. Like, to just, but to enter a scene and to bring the energy of somebody's completely different from you. Like, Bobby made me enter, like, it was like, door open, bam. Do it again. And then, like, just open the door again. Just be like, why are you opening the door like that? Do it again. And then I open the door, and he'd be like, can you open the door like a normal person? And I know he was shitting with me to a degree, but my inside crumbled, and I would call Bibo every night and be like, my options weren't good, man. I didn't have enough ways to open the door. Why can't I open the door like a person? But yeah,
George, it's fine, dude. It just means, he wants to work with you more, all that stuff.
Yeah,
Dean,
yes, so supportive.
Carry on, Dean, with describing the fear that you felt working in the company where it was completely unwarranted at the end of the day. Go on.
No, exactly that. My God, what a fantastic experience we had with that show. Really, it's one of my favorite memories.
No, I'm talking about you because, okay, dude, you're gonna be nice about it. But George, we always describe it as like, so I gave you guys, the business. I was like, hey, this is you guys can do this. I know you guys, you're professionals. You'll succeed. Yada 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 yada. And if we were to describe your experiences in your first production at Atlantis as like a trek down a mountainside, it was as if. George was like rolling down the mountain, just like hitting every boulder on the way down.
Yeah, like
while Dean was
hitting every boulder because I felt like I was in a minefield when I wasn't. I was just like, mines, and there weren't any mines there. And that was just...
Well, Dean was just like with his walking sticks, being like,
I don't know why.
This is great.
It didn't last.
No, I still argue till this day. It's because Bibo and I very much give kind of excited, like, young boy energy, and Dean gives this like, I'm an adult, like, and that's right. No, he gives that because when we're given notes, we're like, okay, Derek, yeah, we got this, yeah, Derek, and then the voice goes high, and it's like, oh, you're the figure of authority. We got you. We'll do this. Everything you want. We'll make it happen. And Dean's like, oh, that's interesting. Yes. Okay. I'll try that next time.
Yeah. I'll try that out. That I might be able to do that. I'll try. Yeah. I might be able to do that.
That makes it sound like a dick.
It's different.
Might be able to.
I think I'll take your suggestions into consideration.
I'm jealous of a lot of things about Dean.
I'm not like that. I'm like, yes.
I'll take it under advisement.
I definitely do everything the director says. I'm not a dick.
No. It's like, but the way he does it, and yeah, like I said, I'm jealous of a lot of things about Dean, like his height, his manly voice. But like another thing is just his ability to say "darling" without sounding creepy. Like it's such an underrated thing that like he can just be like, all right, darling, and they're just like, like. I could never fucking say darling.
It's because it sounds good in a British accent. I'm sorry. But you know why I do that? It's like, because I really just love, I'm feeling like those old masters that I hold in such high regard, like Ian McKellen and, Patrick Stewart and all those people.
Course.
And I just feel like they would say darling,
And you pull it off too. So, Bibo, I'm going to let you be the one to call when you want to start.
Hey, dude. Perfect timing, because I was just about to. On that note, with Dean's Britishness and refinedness, there's so much more we're going to get into in the future. There's so much more we're going to talk about. There's so much more we're going to rant about. Probably. Hopefully we don't offend anyone too much. But yeah, that's all this is about. Just three dudes hanging out, talking about their experiences, talking about their lives, being artists, being creators. You guys are more than actors and performers. You guys do all sorts of projects, which I won't get into now. I'll let you guys introduce it when you want to on this platform, but there are definitely things I'm super excited about, all that stuff. So yeah, if there's anything you guys wanna else you wanna say it now or forever hold your peace, man.
No,
on that note, we
no. No, I just wanted to say that, really quickly, Bibo and I were like kind of hive mind with this, because there was one time, and I'll totally get into this another time about my world with whiskey. I invited him into a podcast I was doing with whiskey, and after the podcast, we were both like, dude, is it just me, or would it be great if we made a podcast? And he was like, dude, me too. And, there was like that thing. And then it was just always wanted to bring Dean in. So the fact that we're here now and the three of us just talking, hanging, and maybe people just have this playing while they're driving or just chilling. Yeah. I'm just happy to share our good conversations with other people, and hopefully what they find to be just good vibes of good bros who just want to support and encourage each other and compliment each other a lot, because as is the nature of a beta boy.
That's what we do.
But we're proud of it. We're proud betas who, just love to support. That's our specialty. So happy to share, and that's where I'll end my note on that.
Yeah. I just want to say to the audience, if you're still watching at this point, thank you so much for tuning in to us ranting stupidly for it's going on to nearly an hour now. And it was really fun. I need to thank you guys, Bibo and George, because, it really took a lot of encouragement for me to come out and do something like this, because I'm such a homebody. I'm the ultimate introvert. I hardly ever talk to anyone or do anything like, period. So it was really nice. I had so much fun doing this kind of thing and telling stories. So I hope you guys tune in again, because I'd really like to keep doing it. So yeah, thank you very much.
Also, I want to say that when I said that we were going to talk about ourselves mainly for this first episode, Dean was like, "Oh, I hate talking about myself," and I was like, "I know." So that has been the first episode of BetaBeard. Thank you so much for watching. We will be uploading new episodes every week. Please tune in. Thank you so much. Like and subscribe if you are so inclined. Thank you. We'll see you around. Bye-bye.